Hey internets, Pixel Geek here with another episode of The Focus, your weekly show that puts the focus on everyday web designers, developers, creative artists, and entrepreneurs like yourselves. And today, my guest is Brian Greig. Hi, Brian.
Hey, you've got it right. You know how many people call me Brian Greig or Brian
I got
Craig or
I got scared there because I just looked over at my notes and I'm like, there's an I in there. Oh crap. Just go with Greg.
Yeah, you got it, man. That was
50-50
beautiful.
chance. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So how you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Oh,
So
it is a hot day in Southern Cal.
we just got through a pretty massive heat wave over here in Connecticut, and I'm pretty sure that, we're done now. This is it. We're just going into fall weather and it's just going to be miserable. So I don't want to hear any SoCal people complaining about weather. All right, you've got it made over there.
Well, you guys over there probably have this thing called seasons.
Yeah, it's called going from frickin' hot to frickin' cold. Yeah,
Well,
come over here sometime. You'll enjoy it.
okay, I might like for
All
a
right.
day, a week or something.
No, no. Okay, well, to each his own.
Yeah. All right. Tell me about yourself because according to your LinkedIn profile, you are presently an assistant director at the Hartford, which is an insurance company, right?
It certainly is. So yeah, I've got kind of an interesting history here. So I've been working at an insurance company now, just in different roles, mostly in like the corporate intranet and business intelligence and different database platforms, IT, all over the place, just doing different roles in technology and in the web. And maybe about a year and a half ago, I decided that I, my the company that I work for has been great for me, and I've really enjoyed working there. But I kind of wanted to try and see what it was like, kind of venturing outside of the corporate world. And I started doing some. I mean, I've done freelance web design in the past, mostly for friends, family, things like that. But I wanted to really give it a fair shake and see if it was something that I enjoyed doing. And I'll tell you, I've been freelancing now on the side, in the just in the evenings, on the weekends, and I absolutely love it. I love the kind of freedom that you have in working with web technologies outside of a corporate environment. Now, Nelson, I don't know. Have you ever worked at a big company?
I'm currently working at a big company. It's a global company, and I've worked at other corporations too. So I know what you mean.
It's like to even get the simplest thing done, it takes an act of Congress. And
It's true.
I mean, just to like set up a simple web page, it's like you need approval from 16 different people and a budget of $100,000. And
I totally get what you mean but now that I'm working for my current job, I've realized that there is a reason for those 16, 20, or how many higher ups that need that one approval for a simple login screen or something like that. They're all thinking about the ROI,
yeah,
you
of
know?
course,
And
of course.
it totally makes sense. And I feel like you're getting the freedom of web design where you can make split decisions by yourself as a freelancer. And there's no hoops to jump through. But at the same end of it, if you mess up, it's your own fault. Whereas in corporate, it's like whoever made the call and said yes, then it trickles all the way down.
It's a trade-off in
Yeah.
risk, and it just I think I'm at a point in my life where I'm willing to take a little bit more risk. I've played it safe for a long time, and
Nice.
I mean I still have to be cautious. I have two young kids. I've got a family. I've got a house. Obviously a lot of things kind of riding on my shoulders, which is why I've been doing the two things in parallel. I obviously my first priority is always going to be my full-time job so that, I can keep a roof over the kids' heads and keep food on the table. But honestly, it's such a rewarding experience. Sometimes just to be able to have a development life cycle where you start something and it goes from start to finish in 2 months, and you have a quality product, something that you could be proud of, something that you can kind of share with the world. It's a very different experience than when you build something inside the confines of a corporation, and your audience is much more limited, and it's almost like they're forced to use the thing that you built. Whereas in the in the web, people use it because they want to use it, because there's something that they're getting out of it.
So it sounds to me like you're finding what a lot of people are always trying to find in their lives: balance.
Yeah.
And so you've been playing the corporate game and being very safe as for a long time in your life, and now you're trying to find that balance of, I need something to make me happy and more productive, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, my father worked for AT&T for 30 years as a phone technician, and then got laid off and
Oof.
started his own business, doing basically the same thing that he was doing over in AT&T. And I mean, he couldn't have been happier. It was like, he was able to do what he was doing, but had the freedom to, pick his clients and, set the parameters around jobs. And that's kind of what I feel like I'm doing here, is that, I'm doing what it is that I love to do. Maybe it's riskier, but it's definitely allowing me to kind of define the edges, define the parameters, and establish what it is that the type of clients that I want to work with. If there's somebody who I don't necessarily agree with their views, or I can be a little bit more selective, and it's a nice thing.
I think that's what everyone actually goes through in their careers, because do you play it safe and you just have the stable money in a corporate environment? Or do you take risks and the high risk, high reward type of thing? People are trying to figure out, do they need the money or do they need the happiness? And so I know a lot of people who are struggling with that in their minds, where they're trying to figure out, do I just get any job, or should I try a job on my own or freelance on my own where I'll be happier, but I know I'm probably going to get paid less and the money's not that stable, you know?
You
It's
know, right about a year and a half ago, my wife and I and my two sons were in a car accident.
oh,
Yeah, somebody rear-ended us, and my wife was badly injured. And after that happened, we've obviously had a lot going on since then with surgeries and things like that. But it kind of changed our whole perspective as a family, and what kind of risks are we willing to take? We've talked about doing this kind of thing for years. I mean, I've taught myself all kinds of different programming languages and front end designs, Flash and different software products. And I've always done this on my own, but I've never kind of taken that step forward and tried to make a career out of it. And it was almost like that was the kind of the kick in the ass that got us to really give this thing a fair shake.
wow. Well, I'm glad things are working out, and how's she doing right now?
Yeah, she's hurting.
Oh
she's
man.
yeah,
So
she's
this
got
was
a tough.
recent?
It was last year.
Oh damn, sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
But
Hey, it's that's life.
yeah, and so I'm glad you found some good out of that whole
Yeah.
situation. And some people need that kick in the ass, and I wish it wasn't that extreme. But
I know.
I'm glad that she's still here on this earth for you. And you know
Oh,
what?
she's a tough cookie. she'll keep
That's
nothing's gonna stop her.
that's good. That's good, man. And I wish more people took the took the initiative to not wait to take risks in their lives and figure out what they want to do earlier, so they can they can actually enjoy every minute, because that's the only thing we cannot buy or keep, time.
It's You know what? And I agree with you wholeheartedly. But it is. It's a scary thing. And we're brought up in a culture where we're taught to, especially like when I was raised by my parents. My father, like I said, he worked for AT&T for years.
Yeah.
That was what you did at that time. You got a career and you stuck with that career. And when you retired, you got your pension, and that was it. You generally had one career over the course of your entire life. It's not the way it is anymore.
Yeah.
And we've got to be able to adapt. And that's what I'm trying to do here is adapt.
Well, good on you for starting in your new life path. Now on to your actual agency, your firm that you started. Why did you name it Resurgence Web Design? Why Resurgence?
So originally, when I decided I was going to do this, what I wanted to do was I wanted to focus on small businesses and local, businesses and nonprofit organizations, and try to bring them into the kind of modern age of the internet. A lot of these companies, they've built out websites. Years ago, maybe, back in the 90s or the early 2000s, and their websites just, remained stagnant throughout the times. And, there's obviously a lot that has changed between, whether they have Flash websites or, just old kind of static tables and HTML sites. What I wanted to do was I wanted to sell my service as, kind of bringing people into the modern age. Like the tagline for the company was "Solutions for a Modern Web," and so Resurgence just seemed like the appropriate name. It's like a resurgence of technology. Something like a breathing new life into something old, and I liked it. What else was kind of an interesting thing, which I didn't even realize until later on, was that the acronym ends up being RWD, which is also the acronym for responsive web design. And
But
so, like,
tish.
yeah, I know. So every time, like, I see somebody tag like hashtag RWD, I'm like, oh no, they're not talking about me.
Well, you could come up in Google search results. If people are looking for RWD,
That's
so
right.
that could be a,
I might as
a
well.
little in
I'll,
there if you play your
I'll ride,
SEO
I'll ride the gravy train.
until something else comes along, like holographic web design or something like that, or virtual reality web design. What can you tell us that makes your company different or unique than the freelancers around you, the other freelance web designers around your area?
So, I mean, since I've started doing this, I've been testing out different technologies and trying to figure out what I'm most comfortable with, and looking at things like Drupal and WordPress and OpenCart and other things like that. I've kind of started engaging with some of the groups through meetups, and getting to know some of the other freelancers in the area, going to some of the different like they had one of the word camp here where they have the speakers, and it's like a full day session where you can meet with some people who are doing the same type of thing in the local area, and trying to get a feel for what is it that makes me different. It's a hard question because we all have the same goal, right? It's build websites. But I think where I try to be different is I I like to really sit down and understand what it is that these companies are trying to sell, and I try to embed myself into the company, to really um, build out a site that is going to speak to their customers, that's going to speak to their brand. I don't want to just kind of push out a template website that's looks like everything else out there. Although, more often than not, that's what people want because, they saw this website online and they want their website to look just like so and so's website. But
Oh, I've heard many times throughout my career, make it like Apple.
make it like Apple.
Ah,
Just make it like Google. Just make it like Google.
okay, you're gonna have one text box and your logo. Done.
Good.
Give me money.
Let's call it a day. Yeah, and I was telling you before we were recording. One of the things that I like to do is I kind of like to share my knowledge. Like, I don't want to just be a web designer. I want to be somebody who's going to partner with my clients. So I build tutorials. I have a YouTube channel where I push out different videos on how to set up a lot of the software on your own, because I think that the technology has reached a point where people who are somewhat savvy with computers can do a lot of this stuff on their own. They don't need a designer. Maybe they need a designer to kind of get them set up, get their initial template set up. But from there on in, they've got control over all this stuff. And I mean, I still see it surprises me how many web designers out there, are still kind of have that webmaster mentality, where it's like, I am the webmaster, everything must come through me.
Well, you know what it is, right? You know
It's the
why?
money.
There it
It's the
is.
money. Yeah, of course it's the money.
They want to
But
every hour for like a little update a price here or update this paragraph. That's an hour or two of their time, and they will bill for it. It's
and
sad.
and that's what I'm saying. When you ask what makes me different, is that's what I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to break that mentality. And yeah, it may not be the most cost-effective thing to start with, but I think that when you build up that kind of a reputation, and when you build up that kind of a relationship with your clients, it's gonna go a long way with you getting new clients, and building up a solid reputation as a company. And you know what? A lot of those people, when they have problems, that they do it on their own, and sooner or later they may have a problem, and they come back to you. And
Yep.
they come back to you because you're the one they trust, because you're the one who, kind of empowered them to do it on their own.
Yep.
It's amazing. I'm a big fan of WordPress.
Hmm.
I do a lot with WordPress, and I mean, I think it's fantastic what you can empower people to do on their own. I think I think that the Resurgence name, it just kind of fit with the type of service that I was trying to provide. It fit with the type of clientele that I was trying to reach out to. And honestly, I really like working with, small businesses and, like nonprofits. It's just a really rewarding experience. There's some clients who are a little bit more difficult to deal with than others.
That's life.
But yeah, no, it is. And I worked in customer service before I worked at the Hartford for years. And so I know how to deal with customers. That's
That's
never been a
really
problem.
good.
I, uh, I hold those experiences near and dear to my heart.
That's a good skill to have, man.
The it's But I really like people, and I really like working with people and being able to help them, and being able to to help them achieve an online presence that really represents them as a company. I mean, because if you see some of this crap that they have,
I
I
know.
mean, I wrote a blog post the other day about like Wix.com um, and like Squarespace. I mean, the Squarespace, it's a beautiful product. They do some nice templates, but you know what? it's when you have somebody who's not a designer pull that stuff together. A lot of times they just, like squish any picture in there and things get all distorted. And, they pick these, fonts that just don't jive with the site. And
Yep.
you end up with a pretty horrifying experience sometimes.
Yep, I totally know what you mean, and I think that's why this industry is awesome to work for because you can work from anywhere, and there's always going to be a client. You just have to go out there and find them because
Yeah.
websites are always evolving, and websites that evolved 3 years ago need another refresh because of responsive web design. And then when this trend is done, what are you going to need? A responsive web design the other way for virtual reality or something like
No, you're
that?
going to need it for your watch. You're going to need the single column layout that
Oh, yeah.
to
Yeah.
fit three words per line on your watch.
There you go. There you go. And this year's trend is Google Material Design. So let's see how far that goes. But getting back to web design, can you tell me one website or app that has recently that you've recently seen that gave you an awesome user experience?
Yes. So I am a big productivity I'm like a productivity Nazi. I love apps that kind of allow you to organize your life in a
Mm-hmm.
way that's meaningful. And I mean, I've tried lots and lots of different tools for kind of managing my day-to-day tasks. And have you ever used something called, and it's got one of the worst names that I've ever heard, but it's one of the most fantastic services, Toodle-Do?
Toodle do. How do you spell it?
Toodle-Do. It's hold on, I'll tell you.
A productivity tool to manage your tasks, to dos.
As far as like design, it's nothing that's going to blow you away. But as far as like the actual usability of the tool, it is one of the most fantastic tools for just like I mean, I will sit there and I'll be uh, um, in a meeting and I'll have my laptop up in front of me. And there's just like, we're having conversations, we're talking about things that need to be done, and I'm just pumping things into this program, and keeping like a steady stream of things that I have to do. And it's, I come back and it's on my phone. I pull up my phone and I see the things that I have to do, and I just knock things out. And, it's like I become like this productivity superstar when I use this thing, and I absolutely love it. It's they've got the app for the iPhone. It integrates in with Siri. I can just speak into it, and it puts it into my queue, and then I could just close out task after task after task, and it's fantastic. A website that I feel is one of the one of my all-time favorite websites as far as like this from a design standpoint. You ever read A List Apart? I absolutely love that site, and I'm a big fan of Jeffrey Zeldman, the guy who runs that site.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I always liked about that site is every time that they post a new blog post, they always have this. It's like a drawing that represents what it is that the article is about, and there's always these kind of clever drawings, like uh, you know, um, like maybe three blind people standing around an elephant and all touching the elephant and one's touching its trunk, and it's like making reference to that kind of old adage about three blind men touching an elephant, and one thinks it's a snake and one thinks it's a hippopotamus. And so they always have these pictures that kind of represent what it is that the blog post is about, but it's in a kind of a clever way.
So now, before we go, where can people find more information about you?
So I'm pretty active on Twitter. You can
Mm-hmm.
follow me at Ignore Intuition.
Mm-hmm.
You can also hit me up on the website for Resurgence Web Design. It's resurgencewebdesign.com. And from there, you can see I've got my Instagram links and my Facebook links and all those other fun ways to keep in touch with me. But I think Twitter is still probably the best way to keep in touch.
Cool. And is
And
there? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, no. I also, like I said, I've got my YouTube channel too. So
Oh yeah. What's the link for
that's
that?
it's well, the link is on the site. It's probably too long to read off, but I don't know if you do show notes, but we could put it in the show notes.
Yep, I do.
Otherwise, they can always go to resurgencewebdesign.com, and the link's up there in the top banner.
Okay. Cool. And anything else you would like to promote before we end this episode of The Focus?
No, just I'm really just trying to get started out here, and I'd love to hear some feedback on my on some of my blog posts and some of my YouTube videos. So if you want to go and check those out, and give me some feedback, and go harass me for all the things that I said that are wrong. I look forward to any of the comments and criticisms.
All right, all right. And criticisms is where we learn. Well, the good ones, not the hey, you suck.
Hey, you know
And
what?
that's
I can roll with the punches, man.
Yeah.
I've been told I suck many times in my life. I can deal with a few more.
Especially in customer service. So you've been through the thick of it.
I'll tell you one more thing just before we break.
Yeah.
For when I was in my last year in college, I had to take like 16 credits or 18 credits or something like that, some ungodly number of credits to finish up within the semester. And I had to leave my job. I had a nice job, but I couldn't do all those credits and work my job during the day. So I took a job telemarketing, actually doing outbound calls for it was like a home improvement company. And if you ever want to just kind of build up a thick skin, do that for like 6 months
Oh my god.
and just get shot down one after another while you're trying to sell people, a service that you don't even believe in. And it's a nightmare. But it gives you like a thick skin, and really I don't think there's much that people can say that's really gonna. Oh, maybe, I don't know if I'm challenging people now, right?
Oh no.
So yeah, but that's good. It's good to have those kind of different experiences.
Awesome. These are some awesome life stories, and thank you, Brian, for being a part of The Focus.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, and I think that it's good that you're doing this, and you're inviting people who are actually doing this kind of work day in and day out. I think it's an invaluable experience.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, man, it's what I'm trying to do is get the stories out there more, because no matter what skill level you're in web design, as long as you have a passion for it, I want to hear about it. So thanks again to Brian for doing The Focus, and to all you wonderful internet peoples out there that actually took the time to watch it, and to those who have subscribed, and you can too, thank you, big thank you. A lot of you have subscribed, and I can't thank you enough. So let's get more subscribers out there, because soon I will be having a contest for you guys. Not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to give more details later. But if you have any questions or comments about today's episode, leave it in the comments section below. Or if you want to be featured on The Focus, please let me know by going to the new website. That's the letter C, space.io is the new website. That just click on the big button on the homepage and fill out that form, and let me know why you should be on a future Focus. You can reach me at Twitter at the Pixel Geek. And yeah, until next week, thank you, and again, please subscribe. And we're out.
Peace out.